backhand in the ad court, Tyler Frazier. And in the forehand court, the back left corner of your screen, is Adam Morgan. Looking forward to a great match today, Mark. What do you think?
Well, Frazier Morgan had a huge win yesterday over Araya Parsons. Filled with confidence, had a big year. They've had some great matches with Durant and Mitchell in the past. They played them last in Philadelphia in the semis there. Lost, I think, 6-2, 6-3. And then the big question, Jeff, is how's the weather going to impact play?
Yeah, I mean, a huge change from yesterday, right? I mean, all day long, all night long, everybody was in shorts and a T-shirt, sweating through their shirts, basically having to change after almost every set because it was just so warm. Today, still warm, not quite as warm as yesterday, but, potential for a slick court. You see everybody out there right now, and still in long pants, and they've got, a long sleeve shirt on. I expect that to change as the match moves on, but, the slickness, certainly could be a factor. The points could be a lot shorter than what these guys are used to playing.
Jeff, you were known as one of the best rain players in the country. Tell me a little bit about how you would adjust your game for conditions like this.
Yeah, I mean, just depending on how skitty the court is, you really have to, you got to take the first opportunity that you get. It's not traditional paddle. The first ball that you really get a chance to swing at, you have to swing at it. You can't be afraid to miss it because you're just not going to get too many opportunities at all. The people at the net, whatever team is at the net, is going to have a huge advantage in wet conditions. So, from the back court, basically first ball that I got, I tried to just bend down and take a hard swing at it and try to get a quick error out of the team at the net. But, just lobbing and lobbing and lobbing is just going to be a slow death.
And did you change your swing at all? Were you a little flatter, a little lower to the ground? I know you're very close to the ground anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that is an advantage. I don't think you can change your swing, but the players that have a short, compact swing are going to have an advantage in the rain because as the ball skips, if it's much harder to time it when you are going to take a drive at it. If you have a long, loopy tennis type of swing. So two people who use two hands typically have an advantage. I expect Tyler Frazier's backhand to be fine. Morgan doesn't. He's got a little bit of a longer swing on the forehand side. Durant, of course, he can just drive the ball with almost no swing at all. So, if the court is skipping, the ball is skipping, I would expect, to see Durant taking a lot of really early opportunities to drive the ball from the back.
And what about the sidearm serve, Jeff? How do you think that's going to adjust to the rain? Because that's obviously got a lot of topspin on it, which ineffectively, and that's going to be a tough swing today.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought a little bit about this last night, and you've got 4 players here that use the sidearm serve, and in the wet conditions, really a flat serve that's going to skip is a much better serve. So it would not surprise me to see, especially Durant, who can easily go back to it. I don't know about Mitchell. I would expect to see. It wouldn't surprise me actually to see Durant use an overhand serve a little bit more, especially to the ad side, where it's pretty much a traditional, fairly easy serve for a righty.
And Frazier's been warming up almost exclusively with the overhand serve.
Yeah, so I mean, there is an advantage to the overhand serve, and also flat overheads tend to be better than really spinny ones because you just get that. You get skip.
Okay, guys, please spin for serve.
When you're hitting with spin, and it kind of grabs the court, and you don't want, in wet conditions, you don't want the ball grabbing the court.
What's up, Brad?
You want it to skip right through. So we'll see how the players handle the conditions.
Durant
and
Mitchell
the rain.
to
Looks
serve.
Like we've got the toss.
Guys, if you guys just test this ball, make sure we're good
taking off
and round.
their first layer, and we're getting ready to start.
I think that's chair umpire Greg Robertson.
Thank you for having me. Hunkered down,
moment, Jeff?
ready for an awesome match.
Frazier Morgan never been here before. This is Johann's, I think, 28th national semifinal.
Yeah.
That's just in the last
know-
5 years.
Yeah, I don't expect there to be, certainly as the match progresses, I don't expect there to be any nerves on either side. Maybe
Absolutely.
early
So
on a little bit
two
for Morgan and
extremely,
Fraser. We'll see how they
close
handle it.
matchups right here.
But,
These teams
they've
have
played in
met, I
huge
think,
tournaments
three
before,
times
obviously the
last
national
season,
level, but
and
they've
the
played in
matches all went the
huge matches
distance.
in
It was
huge
long
tournaments, and they've won
3-set
them.
matches,
So,
and I actually spoke briefly
if
to
there's some
Mark
initial nerves,
Powers
that would be
about a
expected,
week
but I
ago and
wouldn't expect
asked him,
it to
who's the
last, more
team
than
that
a
he
game or
generally
two.
doesn't love facing, and
Tyler
he
Fraser likes
mentioned
to play
Erdoya
fast.
Burish
It's interesting to see
because
whether
it's
they
just
take it
always
to Durant
such
Mitchell
a
or play the
grinding
style
and
that
fueling
everybody else
matchup.
does,
So
other than Juan
it's,
Araya, and really slow
I think
things
we're
down.
really in for a dogfight over here. I'll be interested
Yeah,
to see
I
if
think,
the
like
the
you said,
weather
they've played
makes
each
a
other couple
difference,
times before.
but
They're
it's going to be
familiar with
it's
each
going to be a
other,
real barn
even
burner,
though
Brad.
they're not from the same region. You got I think it's an Illinois team and a Region 2 Massachusetts team. But like you said, they've played each other a couple times before. They're familiar with each other's game, and we're getting ready to start. And,
Okay,
like
Stephen
yesterday,
Mitchell to take us out. He'll be serving to Adam Morgan. And he starts off sidearm. Now, the way lots of teams have played Fraser Morgan is they just dump a lot of balls to the Tyler Fraser forehand. His backhand is his weapon. And he likes to use his speed as well. You can see by where he sets up to return serve which shot he wants to hit. Johan with a
Yeah,
couple of early
you're absolutely right,
donations.
Brad. And if it does
a couple
start to
of early
skid a little bit,
misses
you
from
would
Johan.
assume there's a slight advantage for Hughes and Powers, especially with John
Great
Hughes'
exchange at the
big
net.
spin
Mitchell wins that
overhead
one with
and
Fraser.
that long deep one
Frazier's one of the
that
best
really
blitzers in the
skids.
game.
But we're not there
Yeah,
just
Stephen
yet. So
Mitchell's got, he
there's
does
a
have
lot
great-
of
he does
variables,
have
but
great hands.
best believe
He's
we're
very
in for a
good-
showdown.
He's very good at the net. He's not gonna back away from the exchange. Obviously, Frazier's one of the best in the country at it, as is Johan. But Mitchell's, he's not gonna back up just because Frazier's moving in.
Misses that volley.
Yeah,
15,
good shot by Morgan,
40.
right at his hip. Made him jump a little bit out of the way.
And Morgan's got to have the highest drive percentage in the country. He drives a lot of balls.
I would assume that Boris Erdoya would go with that
30,
slower pace, lot of push overheads over to the John Hughes
there.
forehand and really
Johan
make
nice
him
touch
beat
into
you.
the corner.
They found success with that at Longmeadow throughout the
volley from
tournament.
Mitchell there.
They beat Johan Durant and Stephen Mitchell in the final of that tournament, and
That's
Dude.
his
that
game.
was the strategy that they really
Yeah,
seem
it
to
looks to me like
seem
they're
to
gonna-
use a lot.
there's-
It's
I haven't
slower
seen a lot
pace,
of Morgan
pushing
Fraser,
that ball,
obviously.
because they
I
both
watched them play before. I've
volley
played
so well
against both of them. I
that
haven't, personally, I haven't played against them as a team, but it looks like
correct.
using
Definitely one of the
the
critiques of
Morgan
their game
drive
is
from
their
Fraser Bliss is
positioning
kinda what it looks
and
like to
their
me,
who
is what
takes
they
which
like to do.
overheads. We may even
Deuce,
see a little
first
bit
game.
of a
Johan catches the seam. That's reminiscent of the shot he
Advantage,
hit to win
Durant
last year's
Mitchell.
national final.
Yeah, a good shot right there. Nice pace on the roller.
That's a
Deuce.
function of the weather right there. You saw that ball kind of skid and didn't come off the back wire at all. Stephen Mitchell retrieves that ball 100 times out of 100 in good weather. Wow, look
Yeah,
at
you
that ball
see-
travel.
Yeah, you're seeing it travel. It's going to travel a lot more with the wet weather. But like I think like I said before, when you hit when you hit.
so
with a lot of
Boris
spin,
Erdoya are
it
up
does
to
tend
serve first,
Grab the court.
and we have Mick
Makes it a
Erdoya
little
lining up.
easier to lob.
There, Fraser wins that exchange at the net.
Advantage, Fraser Morgan.
Yeah, great play by Tyler Frazier.
That's the
Deuce.
type of
Dink
mistake you can't afford to make.
Yeah, he just tried to dink one in there a little bit over the net. Mitchell was off the net. I mean, if he made it over the net, it was going to be a tough. It's going to be tough.
Advantage,
for
Durant Mitchell.
Get it past Frazier. So I don't think it was a bad play. Just poor execution.
Game, Durant
Lob long.
Mitchell.
Yeah,
They're on the
that's
board first.
Durant, Mitchell lead the
just a lot
first
of
set,
errors in
1
that
game
I
to
think
love.
Both teams kind of feeling each other out. You know, from my perspective, a little bit of a sometimes in this wet weather when there's that lob and it's going to be close and you're not sure. I would tend to hit it and play it. You know, Mitchell let that one go. He got away with it. But if you give up the net when it's wet like this, it's a big disadvantage.
I think we're going to
Like
see a
this
lot
guy,
of these long
you know,
points,
just giving up the
Brad.
net was not going to be a problem. Today is a different story. Looks like Morgan's
Fantastic
gonna take a couple
serve
of
and
bumps
stay
until he
back
gets
there
it
by
in.
Mikrodoya.
Gives new meaning to can I take one?
Oh, here we go.
Love, 15.
And apparently
Yeah.
the warm-ups didn't help. And this
Yeah,
is
you
one of the
can
things
see
I'm
it.
interested to see because I think it's going to be very hard with the condition with the wet ball to hit that sidearm serve on a consistent basis.
I agree with you, and you know Morgan, I think more so than the others. His underhand
Quick
serve
game
really
there
does have
for
a lot
Bursch
of
and
topspin
Odoye.
on it. And
They
when
know
the
it's-
ball's wet.
15
Yeah,
all.
they know it's not all going to be that easy, but they'll
It's hard
take
to
it
get that
early on when they can
topspin,
get it for sure.
On it, so it wouldn't surprise me to see more faults out of Morgan or serves that end up going a lot higher
Fault.
over the net than he's used to.
Foot fault. 15, 30.
Yeah, Morgan was staying back and had a foot fault.
Yeah, there it is
40.
again. He's grabbing the
And
paddle.
Jeff, talk
right?
a little bit about that. So the paddle, ball's wet, the paddle's wet, the ball tends to kind of fall down the paddle. Is that right?
Is that serve just out?
Yeah, it's just you can't get spin on the ball. There's no, it's not, it's certainly not obvious. It's not the ball's fault. It's
Huh.
the court that's wet, but the, there's no.
Yeah, you can see it now. Those
Game,
You
Durant,
can't,
Mitchell.
you can't. It's basically like you're playing with a ball.
Durant,
tennis
Mitchell
ball.
lead the first
You
set.
can't.
2 games
no
to
matter
love.
what type of strings you have,
The-
if you could have the spinniest strings and that you can.
those were
possibly
not
have, you're
typical
not gonna be able
misses
to
from
rotate
Bursch
the
and
ball
Odoye.
and
That
spin on it. So
rain's
you
definitely
see
going to be a
Johan here,
factor.
Durant right
That
away
ball
went
will
for the
start to be
overhand
skidding.
serve.
Yeah, if Mitchell's. I mean, that last serve from Morgan, he served kind of like the way Emprotsenko served. If he's going to serve that way in a rainy day, they have no chance.
Well, he's going to have to find a way to get it in. That's for sure.
Well, it's interesting to me that he didn't practice any other type of serve in the warm-up. Look at the ball come off the water come off the flock of the ball there on that overhead by
15,
Durant.
love.
I mean, the net is everything in a day like today, right, Jeff?
It's it. Yeah, you can't win from the back. I mean, you've seen.
This is definitely going to be a
all the
mental
points that
test
Frazier
and
Morgan
see
have.
who
I
can
shouldn't say
adjust
all
to
of
the
them,
elements
but
because your grip
Frazier
gets
and Morgan are
slippery.
winning points
It's
by-
as you said on a serve. If you have a lot of
Frazier
spin,
Blitz won a
you just
couple,
don't
and
feel
Johan
confident
made some
cutting
errors
it
at the net
or
and really
or
just,
really brushing on it
won
because it
good
doesn't
drive.
grab. It's going to be tricky.
I mean, that's an incredibly effective shot.
30, love.
When it's wet, it's basically almost like a flat roller, and they hit a bunch of those yesterday. As we noticed, we did that match. They hit a lot of those to Anderson, and I
40,
expect to see more of
love.
them today.
This is really our first point with Frazier Morgan set up at the net.
You see the harder overheads with the weather. As you said, Odoye hitting harder and through the ball.
And like everything else, Durant is a terrific rain player. He's got such a short, compact swing.
See that? I mean, like that was an opportunity there. I thought, Mitchell, he had a
Wow.
he had a good forehand.
Down goes Durant.
It's
Boy, you
definitely
gotta
one of
worry about
Odoye's
Forty,
strengths is how he
15.
plays in transition. He loves the transition
like
game.
this.
He tries to force
Yeah,
it, and
he
he
got
and
it,
he,
a little bit
he
earlier
really
there,
is
Mitchell had a
comfortable at
forehand
picking
lined up,
where
and
to
he
drive
hit
off
a,
that screen
I
and,
call it a
and
probing
flipping
drive,
the
but
script
he
on his
really
opponents.
needed to take a.
That's great transition play from Durant.
A hold with two, was it 2 faults or
Game,
3?
Durant, Mitchell.
And a hold. There we
Watching
go.
Durant play, Jeff, I'm
Durant
reminded
Mitchell
of
lead the first set.
famous Mets announcer Ralph Kiner in describing Dwight Gooden. He said the biggest weakness in his game was going from second to third on a triple. And Durant, is just nothing he doesn't do well on the court. His movement is so beautiful to watch. He's good in the dry, he's good in the wet, he's good in the warm, he's good in the cold. He's so smart, too.
This working? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's a talented guy. I mean, occasionally.
It's definitely a big
occasionally
emphasis
goes away a
on
little bit
trying to
mentally,
get
but
the
I
net,
don't-
right, Brad,
I
when
don't
it's
expect
these
that
sort of
here
elements, because
naturally
as you
in the
said, if you
semifinals with
actually
all of
get the
all of
net,
his experience.
it's
So,
quite easy
you
to,
know,
to
you can
win the
see,
point because
you
of
know,
that
they're up
harder
3-0.
overhead you can hit.
Frazier
This
and
ball
Morgan,
skids. Your opponents at the
at least
baseline
at this
can't
point,
just
it doesn't look
survive
like they
for
have
hundreds
any
and hundreds
type
of balls like we
plan
generally see in a
that is
paddle
going
match.
to get them very, very far. I'm going to be, let's see if Frazier can do something here on his serve. Try to get this thing to 3-1.
I'm just kind of amazed that Morgan practiced nothing but sidearm serves and then abandoned the sidearm serve in the first game that he served. Does not give you a sense they had a lot of thought into what was going on.
15.
Clearly,
love.
Frazier's serve should be more effective of the two today.
Yeah, you see he's gone. He's going to go to the overhand serve, which I think is the right play. The other thing about when it's wet and you go to the overhand serve, you don't want to hit it. So far I've seen, Durant and Frazier hitting it a little bit too hard to the deuce court. And it's giving an opportunity for the player in the deuce court to hit a drive. I think if there's a way you can slow it down a little bit as an overhand serve, it's a very hard ball to drive because it skips.
$30. Love.
Break and serve is going to be a real challenge today. Simply could come down to faults at the end of the day. And you see Johan swinging at virtually
15.
everything on return to serve, and that's your best opportunity, isn't it, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, if you can, that's exactly it. And when you're Johan Durant moving forward, which, I think if Frazier can slow it down and make Johan hit a ground stroke as opposed to a shot moving forward, you're going to be a little bit better off and get yourself, you have a better chance of getting the net.
40-15.
Mitchell
Tough
lets
one
him off
there.
the hook there.
Fantastic drive there by Microdoya.
Tried to
Spots
do
the
a
middle
roller,
open,
sort of like Morgan's
threads the
forehand,
needle,
ball
and
just never
catches
had
Mark
got out of
Powers with
spin
the
and ended
reach.
up in the net.
What are some rainy day
40,
adjustments you
30.
generally tell
You see
players
there,
to make,
Durant
Brad?
is just waiting for the ball to come off the screen, and it doesn't matter. He's going to take a good swing at it and just follow it in right behind and try to get into an exchange and win the point, within one or two shots. I think we've got Pat out here. That was just a great shot by Mitchell.
Game.
And there we
Frazier,
see it, right? The
Morgan.
ball's just not catching on the
Frazier
paddle. So
Morgan to get the
generally,
board,
Durant
when it's
Mitchell
not
leading
wet,
first set,
it's
3
the
games to
paddle,
1.
the grit in the paddle, and the hole is going to really
Around the
catch
board.
that ball and spin it in.
Getting used to
When
the
it's slick like
conditions.
this, it doesn't happen.
Hannes Zabori, Delmonico Gebbia, 2-all first set.
Ball's out. 15. Love.
Like a deep lob there. 15 love.
Boris Erdoya, 2-1 Hughes Powers. Court's playing pretty well so far, would you say, Jeff?
Yeah, it
30,
seems to be. I mean, there's a
love.
couple. Obviously, I think if you can hit the ball through, it's gonna, it's not gonna come too far
Fault.
off that back screen. It skips on through, but for the most
30,
part, it's playing fine.
15.
There's Mitchell's faults.
Wait, Durant is just so effective cutting balls off at the net. That's a
change
big
the
rip
30
for Frazier, and
all.
that's the place you don't want to go. That's the #1 weapon on the court. Morgan hits a relatively flat ball. Should be effective in these conditions.
Yeah.
So through one round of rotation of serves, it's 3-1 Durant Mitchell. First set. National semifinal. That's not the overhead you want. It comes off so hard, no one's able to play it easily. Right now, Frazier and Morgan are generating a lot of offense from the backcourt.
I mean, you can't win in the rain from the backcourt. It's just, I mean, you're gonna
Advantage,
get something
Durant
like that.
Mitchell.
You know, it's a great overhead in the rain in a wet court, and it's a good overhead when it's dry, and you just can't stay back there all day.
Great blitz from Mitchell, from
Game, Durant
Frazier, but he loses
Mitchell.
the exchange. A little late in the first one.
Durant and Mitchell lead the first set.
But those are the
4
types of
games
things
to
that you have
1.
to do, though, Mark.
Gentlemen,
you got to
5
take.
games. We'll switch
you have
balls.
to take. I think anyway. I think you got to take chances like that. That, you know, if we were commentating on a, you know, you're watching this on a 45-degree dry day that with clouds in the sky, you'd say, well, that was kind of a crazy blitz. We're gonna do a read. We've got upswing. Did you know? Do you make it through the entire paddle season with medical assistance? Has anybody ever had aches and pains? I know that I have. Maybe a sore shoulder, elbow, or knee? Are you aware that APTA's partnership with Upswing Health provides access to professional athletic trainers virtually? Wouldn't it be great to learn more about your inquiry and maybe get some free tips so you can feel better now and maybe play injury-free next year? It is available right now for no cost. The APTA invites you to visit our partner, upswinghealth.com. Check out their site,
1-5, guys.
diagnose your injury, and talk to your own athletic trainer. If you fill out a brief survey about your experience at Upswing, before the end of the month, you'll be entered for a raffle for a Viking paddle. Check out upswinghealth.com/APTA today.
Well read, Jeff. Here we have
Slow to the
Morgan going overhand with the serve, which is the first time I've seen him serve overhand other than the last game in 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's the right move. You know,
It's
they
the only
weren't
move.
gonna. Yeah, I mean, it was obvious. He faulted a bunch of times, and you know,
And that's an inexperienced mistake there.
Love,
you cannot let that
15.
ball drop. You've got to hit it. If it's going to be close, you have to play it. You cannot give up the net like that.
yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Mitchell let one go and got lucky, but as soon as you know, if it's close, you've got to take a swing at it. You can't give up the net. You got two, you know, cat-like people when it comes to moving forward, and Frazier and Durant. If you give up the net, one of them's going to have their nose over the net before you make your next shot, and then the point is essentially over. Yeah, great shot there by
15
Frazier.
all.
Really using the court well.
But
Good
that's a
pace on
function
that.
of the wet court, obviously.
Yeah, but it's also, you know, you still have to hit it with good pace so that it doesn't come off the back screen too high. You know, it was a great shot.
15-30.
I like them
Well,
going
that-
Australian there, but, you know, tough ball for Frazier to handle.
Well, taking advantage of that serve, Tyler Frazier's a little bit of a duck in a shooting gallery up there.
Yeah, I mean, Mitchell and Durant are doing the right thing. You know, it's the first ball you get, you swing at it as best you can. They can't do this, though. I don't think this is going to be an effective strategy.
Yeah, I just don't understand this.
Game.
They look
Durant,
a little
Mitchell.
lost to me right now, Jeff.
Durant and Mitchell lead the
Yeah,
first set.
they're going to need to
5
figure out what to do
games
on Morgan's
to 1.
serve. I don't think I don't think they've won a point on it. They're going to have to come up with something, for sure.
3-all. Hannes Sabori, Delmonico Gebbia first set. Cruz Nicolescu up 2-love first set. All 4 national semifinals going on at once. Just a tremendous volley from Durant. Makes it look so easy. And that's always the safe spot right there against Tyler Frazier. That soft ball to his forehand. That's just
right
the
into
nick
the
there.
15,
Great
love.
shot.
$30, love.
Boy, Frazier Morgan need a timeout right now, Jeff.
$40, love.
Well, they're going to get one.
$40, 15.
Set point number 2. Oh, Durant going sidearm. Interesting play, Jeff. Why do you think he did that?
I don't know. I mean, Morgan had been, driving the return, but like I said, that's not a good overhead there by Johan, but it's a good lob.
It's not a good overhead for you,
Game, Durant,
unless you can hit that
Mitchell.
half volley lob. Johan just hit
Mitchell
over his head.
win the first set.
Yeah.
6 games to
They're
1.
really playing well. They've obviously Durant and Mitchell are obviously handling the conditions a little bit better. It seemed like they really came out with a little bit better of a rain plan than Morgan and Frazier, or a wet court plan, I should say. Morgan's going to have to go to that overhand serve here in the second set, and I think that Frazier's going to have to try to create some havoc and do some blitzing.
2 minutes,
they can't
right?
obviously keep going,
2 minutes,
going
guys.
the way that they are going.
Okay, we'll be right back to talk about the second set after this break on the APT Network, presented by eNet Live. Welcome back to the Canoe Brook Country Club 2021 APTA National Championship. We just finished the first set between Johan Durant and Stephen Mitchell over Tyler Frazier and Adam Morgan. Jeff, what do they need to do to turn this thing around?
Obviously a lot. They need to find a way to capture the net. I don't know exactly what their plan's going to be, but I think Frazier's got to try to get in there and just get in some exchanges. Morgan's going to have to take more risk from the back and just drive the ball and let Frazier blitz, I think, in order to find the net. And they can't let Durant and Mitchell take the net right off the return of serve. They're going to have to, on Morgan's serve, Frazier's going to have to stand in there and try to volley like a champ, or Morgan's going to have to fix his serve. Otherwise, that's all it's going to take. It's going to take, Durant and Mitchell holding and breaking Morgan, and the set's going to be over. So we'll see if they can make the adjustment. I'm not overly optimistic, but let's see what they can do.
Boris Erdoya just broke through to go up 5-3 in the first set. And Hannes Sabori are serving at 4-3 in the first set of their match. Cruz Nicolescu up 2-1, also first set. Yeah, they're going to have to figure out something with Adam Morgan's serve. because you can't afford to give up the net in one of the 4 rotation games.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the underhand serve doesn't look like it's gonna cut it, and his overhand serve wasn't doing much better. They were really ripping it. He may have to, toss it up and hit it flat, and kind of hope it goes in. And the 2 service games that he has, so that it skips a little bit and causes a little bit of problem for Mitchell and Durant.
And are you surprised that this was kind of a, I don't want to say a surprise for Adam Morgan, but that he was unprepared to be serving overhand?
Okay, guys, second set.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't been, he was one of the original underhand or sidearm servers. He's been doing it, like you said, for 5 years. Most of the other top players have only been doing it for a couple of years. So he was probably uncomfortable even going back to it, but let's see.
They switched the rotation
15.
here from Tyler to Tyler Frazier serving first.
Yeah, and he's just
Serving to
slow
Durant
that.
is hard in the cold, the wet, the warm.
Yeah, but he's got to try to slow it down, I think, a little bit.
Oh, great transition from Durant. Boy, second time
great
we've
shot.
seen Durant slide.
15 all.
Yeah, great shot.
Really
there,
important
buddy.
for Frazier Morgan to get off to a hot start here.
Yep. Looks like they're going Australian. Oh, great hands by Frazier.
Another slip
Good
from
little-
30
Durant.
15.
I don't think it's the slip. I don't think was going to change the result there. Frazier
No, I don't
just
think it
really
was.
had-
She's got to be worried about the conditions for the health of the players. Bad sign how much sliding we're seeing right now.
40 15.
Yeah, Durant let a ball through on the 3rd point. He probably should not have. And there you see Durant kind of lurking on the service line.
Yeah, great.
40
shot there.
30.
Any short overhead here is just going to be put
That
away.
slash was going to be trouble in a dry court. On a wet court, he had no chance.
Add out. Or is it add in? Add in.
Add in, 40-30.
Nice serve
Boy,
there.
Frazier's serve to the backhand is terrific, isn't it?
That was a great one.
Game.
Durant misses that one, and
Frazier.
Frazier Morgan are on the board to start set number 2.
Tyler Frazier lead the second set.
Yeah,
One
good start
game
for
to
them. Like you
love.
said, I think it was really important to get off to a good start. Especially with Frazier serving. Mark, did Mitchell lead off the serving?
Mitchell
match?
started the first set, yep.
Switching here to Durant serving.
Yeah, I think the overhead serve is so much more effective on a day like today. That's wide.
15.
Set point for Burris Doya on the other court. Little talk on the court, Jeff. You picking up what they're talking about?
No.
15 love. $30 love.
Not sure what they were saying.
$30 15. $30 all.
Couple of faults in a row there from Durant. He goes overhand and then sidearm. Big point right here. Good return from
Advantage,
Morgan. Gives him
Tyler
first
Frazier.
break opportunity since the premier game. We said faulting could be a huge part of the match. Great volley from Durant.
Yeah, he's got to be careful. I mean, that's
Oh,
just
what a pickup. Oh,
missed it.
unbelievable pickup from Durant,
Yes.
backing off the net, too.
Yeah, I mean, Durant doesn't want to be making that shot out, picking that up every day. I mean, that's not a winning strategy.
Every day. I can't make that
Great.
shot in my dreams, Jeff.
It was a great shot by Morgan. I mean, Frazier.
And there Durant
Advantage,
plays the
Durant,
transition
Mitchell.
perfectly. Finds the right hip of Frazier.
Yep. Great shot.
Game.
Great serve from Durant as he
Mitchell.
finds his way out of trouble.
Second set
You can't
tied.
blame Frazier
One
there for
game
trying to take a
apiece.
rip at
First set, Burris Ordoya 6-3 as Mark Powers fans a forehand in the wet court. Weather is definitely impacting play in a significant way.
Well, they're really talking about what their, what is their plan going to be right here. They want to make sure they're on the same page. They know, Frazier and Morgan know how important this game is. They need to pull this out, or this could be the set given the conditions. I mean, nobody's really been able to break serve other than right here.
First set, Hannes Zavori. No, I take that back.
15, Love.
Yeah, I think it's first set, Hannes Zavori, 6-4. Waiting for confirmation on that. Oh,
15,
again,
all.
a question, close ball, letting it through. Hannes Zavori do win the first set, 6-4.
I think Morgan and Frazier right here are doing the right thing. They've gone to the Australian. Frazier's going to move around a little bit. He's going to try to create something that makes Durant miss, but it didn't work. I'm a little surprised Mitchell didn't get into the net there.
Gate comes open in the middle of play. Players don't even notice it. Again, lob bouncing. Just can't afford to do that in these conditions. Be interesting to see the stats, but you'd have to think the team at the net is winning 85, 90% of the points, Jeff?
Yeah, at least. I mean, apart
15,
from
30.
there's a handful of good drives where people have missed volleys, but that's really about it. And the volleys some of those volleys that they're hitting are volleys that otherwise, maybe in drier conditions, the players would let rug go through and then, try to get into transition or just feel fine to take the, take the baseline and play from the back.
It's an amazing volley there from Tyler Frazier off a missile from Mitchell. Or is it a Mitchell from missile? Not sure.
Big rip.
So Jeff, why do the conditions
15,
only seem to be
40.
bothering one of the teams and not the other? Can you explain that to me?
I can't. I mean, Frazier in the beginning of that, exchanges at the net, he was doing the right thing. He was going, to that backhand corner, and then all of a sudden he, started really not hitting it with enough power so that it would skip, and it started to sit up a little bit.
Call confirmed. 30, 40.
Big moment of the match right here. Morgan is yet to hold serve.
Yeah.
4-1 Cruz Nicolescu, first set.
Let's see what happens here. We know Mitchell's going to take a big swat at it, one way or another.
Deuce.
Swing and a miss.
He went for the home run, and not surprised. I mean, he obviously struck out on that one, but that's what they're going to do.
brutal conditions right now.
They're going to take the first shot they got.
Slip
Great
there from
volley.
Morgan. Great volley.
Advantage,
That's a good
Tyler
swing.
Frazier.
Positive energy from Morgan. First time we've seen that today. It is freaking pouring right now. There's another lob that Morgan lets go. Morgan misses that. We're back to deuce.
Deuce.
I think it's a shot that he had to go for, though. I mean, he had a forehand. It was, waist high. I don't think it would have been helpful to them to wait around and try to get a better look. It was a decent look.
Advantage,
Boy, they just-
Durant Mitchell.
Durant is just playing like it's a dry court. Everybody else is playing like a wet court.
Yes, Morgan's he's got to find a way to get that first serve to skip.
It also looks to me like Frazier's making contact too high in his overheads.
Deuce.
Watch Durant hit them. He's kind of letting them drop, getting it a little lower on point of contact. But this is almost a must-win game for Frazier and Morgan. Now they're going to regular formation.
Yeah, good serve
Great
there.
volley there.
Advantage, Frazier Morgan.
Is that second foot of Morgan's coming down before he contacts the ball, Jeff? It's very close.
Yeah, I think so. I think, I think a lot of people have watched these things on video and have concluded that he does, that he makes the...
Well, he was
Deuce.
letting that
The
ball
proper
go, and
serve.
it hit his paddle anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can do that, right? You can't let it go. You've got to take the net. You got to try to make, if you're coming in, you got to try to make that first volley one way or another.
This is
Advantage, Frazier Morgan.
a rare one. Another opportunity for hold.
Yeah, they're hanging in there. They have made some adjustments.
Deuce.
Boy, Mitchell, after a slow patch, has really returned well.
Yeah, Frazier's created a little bit of havoc in this game by moving around, by doing some Australian, doing different things, some serve volley, some other stuff.
Advantage,
There it
Durant
is. I mean, it's
Mitchell.
just the return of serve is just what's killing them.
Return of serve is important on a dry day. It's absolutely essential wet day.
Yeah, same as the serve. I mean, I think Mitchell's going to take another really big swing at this. You see Durant probably coming forward.
Game, Durant Mitchell.
Serve out.
Boy, they look
Durant
lost, Jeff.
Mitchell lead the second set.
Yeah.
2-1.
Are you
They're gonna
surprised
have to
that
get
Morgan can't hit like a
Reminder,
hard,
Durant
flat
Mitchell
serve? And
won
he's
the
obviously a
first set.
terrific tennis
6
player.
games to 1. Ball change, right?
I'm sure.
Yep.
I'm sure that he could, Mark. With some, some time off for the court. He did it. Prior to 4 or 5 years ago. That's how he served. But
Here's a look at the radar. Just looks like it's going to be a beautiful sunny day the rest of the way, Jeff. Nice day if you're a duck.
yeah, it's
But
tough,
the
that's-
phrase, the good news, Jeff, is we're going to get some Mayflowers.
2-1.
Well, that's for sure.
Durant Mitchell,
You
second
know, but
set.
that's paddle, right? They
Just
play
test
in
that
all
ball for me
conditions.
and make
It's
sure
outdoor
we're good.
sport. Rain, sleet, snow. You know, they got the heaters. They do the best that they can. The courts are, you know, the courts are the best that they can be, best condition they can be in right now, given what's happening. And
Huh?
you know, it's the same court for all 4 players, and you got to adjust to the conditions. Just like, you know, yesterday you could say was, well, that's not paddle weather either. You know, it's 71 degrees out. That's not how paddle's supposed to be played. Well, you know, some players are better in warmer weather. Some players are, you know, prefer colder weather. Some people like the
2 serving 1.
slick court. Other people don't.
2 love, Hannah
Find a way to win
Spori.
it.
Call stands. Love 30.
Fault from Mitchell.
Love 40.
Chance to get back on serve. First break of serve of the match for Fraser Morgan if they could convert here. That's a ball I would have expected Fraser to take a swing at.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I agree with you. You know, it's there for him. It's his best shot. You know, he's probably not going to get another look like that.
And Durant's hitting a lot of patient overheads in the middle. I really like that. Waiting for his opportunity. Great blitz from Fraser, but he misses it.
15-40.
Caught them
You know, it's
unawares.
tough. Yeah, it's coming off it's coming off of a wet paddle, so it's long.
$30, $40.
Boy, this is almost a must-win game for Fraser Morgan, Jeff.
You know, I like that play right there by Fraser. He had a look at a backhand. He's going to take it. I mean, he's really going for it. He recognizes the moment. He's just swung now at 3 or 4. There it is. Big flat forehand by
Game.
Morgan.
Fraser Morgan.
They've, pulled this back to even.
Second
Great
set
ball from
tied,
Morgan there.
1
Gets them back
game
on serve.
apiece. 2 games apiece. Correction. 2-2, gentlemen.
Just can't hit that serve.
Yeah, you can't stay back. You know, it's a little bit hard, but you know, Fraser's he's got great hands. He's got to come into the net behind that in these conditions.
Oof. Hughes powers up an early break, 3-1. Second set.
Love 15.
Good point there from Fraser Morgan, just unable to convert from the backcourt.
$15 all.
He
15,
tried
30.
to slow that one down a little bit and just kind of dumped it in the net.
Well, therein lies the problem with serving to Johan Durant.
He's really put a lot of pressure on them all day.
Boy, Durant's just so
15,
good at finding his
40.
offense.
Yeah, I mean, you want to try to, obviously, you want to stop Durant from, it's just like Frazier, you want to try to stop both of them from, handing them an opportunity to move forward. When you hit a hard backside like that, it's almost guaranteed. Durant's not going to lob that ball, neither is Frazier. They're going to hit it.
Game, Durant, Mitchell.
And they break
That
for
was a
Frazier.
really tough game for
Durant,
Frazier Morgan to
Mitchell
lose
lead
because
the
now you've got
second set,
Durant
3 games
and
to
Morgan
2.
serving, which are the two strongest games for them.
Yep, it's a tough one.
I have one more. I'm good right now.
Viking has
3 more games on this ball.
Viking has an unrivaled paddle lineup depth, 3 paddle families, each featuring 3 models: the Pro, the Light, and the Prodigy. 9 adult paddles with different weights, core densities, and overall hitting surfaces to address all levels of play. Vibrant gradients and a bold, modern color pattern lead the way for the upcoming season. All paddles are hand-painted, giving each its own unique look. No gimmicks, just the best ball striking paddles in the game. The official paddles of the
Free serving 2.
ATA.
Okay, Frazier Morgan have got to figure out a way to win one of these next 2 games. I don't see how they're going to get back in this match if they don't shift.
Yeah, they started to get, they almost had some momentum going. They got they played a solid game with Morgan serving. They didn't end up pulling it out, but they had to give them at least a little confidence for the rest of the set. And then they broke, they broke Mitchell. And then they had, Frazier serving really presented a great opportunity.
That ball in the air.
15 all.
Frazier played such a terrific point and then chose to let that ball drop. Monaco Gebbia back to 2-all second set with Hannes Sabori. Cruz Nicolescu up 5-1 as they continue ripping through the draw. They didn't lose too many games yesterday.
30-15.
Steve Mitchell's been, I just watched that point there. He's made, he's played very solid at the net. He's put all of it, put the volleys back in play. I think, like you said yesterday,
40.
Morgan's been serving, and they're really going to try to, obviously they've got to pull this
Fault.
out. They can't get down 5-2, or it's going to be
Foot
all
fault.
over.
Your front foot.
And it looks like a
front foot
fault
that
was just
time.
called again.
Not the
Another-
back foot stepping in.
Another foot fault called on
And
Morgan.
Front foot.
Chair umpire
Love
explains it
15.
was the front
Let's
foot.
play.
Morgan has yet to hold serve today.
That doesn't help.
No, that's definitely not going to help. Unless you're rooting for Durant Mitchell, then it might help.
$15 all.
I think that signal was don't foot fault.
Yeah.
15-30.
5-2, Cruz Nicolescu. They attempt to close out the first set. Cooper Molenveld. Great chase down from Durant.
$30-40.
Save one
there.
baby match point. Great transition play there from Adam Morgan.
Yeah, let's see if Morgan comes in or stays back.
Stays back again. Mitchell misses, and we're back to deuce. This would be a huge hold for Morgan here. Durant pegs him.
Advantage,
Yeah, it's probably flying
Durant,
out.
Mitchell.
But it's so hard to get out of the way. It's coming so fast, and
We'll never know if it was out, Jeff.
yeah.
As Brad Easterbrook was saying, it was dipping.
I think if it hit you in the shoulder area, it's going at that pace. It would require some new type of physics that I'm not aware of to get that one in, but it's hard to get out of the way. And
one more game on ball.
Durant and Mitchell aren't even giving them a chance to do that, and then when they, when they get the chance, they're missing it. You can't. It's not a game that. Go ahead. Sorry.
Hughes Powers up 5-2. Looks like they're going to split there. Hana Sabori up 4-3 in the second set. I got a report from Mark Parsons. It looks like Sven Burish is struggling with the rain right now, and it is raining hard.
One more game for ball.
First set to Cruz Nicolescu. 6-2.
Sven's got Burris has a short backswing, I think, on that backhand. I wonder why he's,
Looks like he's struggling to hold the paddle. They've got a towel out trying to dry his grip off.
Yeah, I mean Mick's got a pretty big swing on his forehand, so I wouldn't see him driving.
5-2.
I don't think we're going to see too much more underhand serving from Stephen Mitchell today. Sven faults 4 times. Sven Burish faulted 4 times to lose the set.
Yeah, he's also, he serves overhand, but he has so much spin on his normal serve, right? Even he's got one of the best serves in the game, especially to the ad court. When you're used to being able to put that much spin on the ball, and then get into these types of conditions, you really have to adjust your natural swing quite a bit just to get the ball in play. So hopefully he makes that adjustment. I mean, nobody likes to.
Like that ball there, I think Frazier's got to swing at that ball. I think he's being too judicious here. Dry weather, maybe it's good. Not the wet weather, you got to take your chances.
Mitchell.
And that takes us to match point. Interesting that both will sometime later today. Stay tuned for updates as the weather continues to progress and the matches progress. Jeff, always a pleasure working with you. And that's a wrap.
Thanks.